Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really substantial collection of source material today,
We do.
all focused on, well, a single immense place. Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state.
Yeah, understanding UP is, in a way, taking a deep dive into the core of India itself, its scale, its history, the sheer diversity.
Hmm.
So it really makes it a microcosm of the whole nation.
Exactly. And the sources you've shared with us, they cover so much ground. I mean, from ancient history and diverse cultures right through to the complexities of its modern economy, politics, and future ambitions.
It is a lot to absorb, definitely.
Yeah.
But our goal here, I think, is to unpack these sources together, pull out the most crucial insights, and give you, the listener, a really clear, well-informed picture of this vital state.
Okay, then let's unpack this. So the sources, they immediately hit you with the scale, don't they? Uttar Pradesh,
Hmm.
capital Lucknow, okay, but the largest city is actually Kanpur.
Right, and that scale is just breathtaking. The sources tell us it's home to over 240 million people. That's based on recent estimates, making it far and away the most populous state in India. It's also geographically vast, about 243,000 square kilometers. That puts it as the fourth largest by area.
And you just look at its position on the map right there in northern India. It shares borders with 9 other Indian states and Nepal, too.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you straight away this isn't some isolated region. It's deeply interconnected, influential.
And that immense size, that central location, it naturally translates into significant political and economic weight, on the national stage.
Yeah. The sources also trace its administrative history a bit, noting its formation as the United Provinces back in 1937,
Right.
and then being renamed Uttar Pradesh in 1950. So that gives us a sort of starting point for its
Yeah.
modern identity.
And shaping all of this, of course, are the incredible physical features of the state. The sources really highlight the major rivers crisscrossing the landscape.
Mhm.
The Ganga, Yamuna, Gagara, Gomti, Saryu, Patwa, Chambal.
And these rivers aren't just, lines on a map. They are the source of its incredible fertility. That's why agriculture is so foundational here.
Precisely. Yeah. And the sources actually break down the state into these distinct geographical regions, each with its own kind of character and nuances. You've got Purvanchal in the east,
Okay.
Awadh in the center, Bundelkhand down south,
Yeah.
Rahulkhand in the northwest, the really fertile Doab region between the Ganga and Yamuna,
I ain't the doa.
and then the Terai foothills bordering Nepal.
It makes complete sense then how geography ties so directly into the economy, the lifestyle, creating these unique regional differences the sources keep mentioning. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, pulling from the sources. The history. I mean, they paint UP as a true cradle of Indian civilization. It goes back thousands of years.
Millennia.
You're talking ancient kingdoms like Kosala, which included Ayodhya, Kashi, modern-day Varanasi, Mathura, all of these centers of early power and culture.
And this region has been central to successive empires. The sources list major dynasties that controlled parts of it,
Yeah.
Mauryas, Guptas, Mughals.
Right.
And later you have the distinctive rule of the Nawabs of Awadh.
And its role in the freedom struggle is just absolutely pivotal. The sources point out that the massive 1857 revolt against British rule, often called the First War of Indian Independence, actually kicked off in Meerut, right here in UP. And key cities like Lucknow, Kanpur, Jhansi, Varanasi were, well, hotbeds of resistance during that time.
And that deep history, it's not just in books, is it?
Yeah.
According to the sources, it's visible everywhere you look. They list these iconic historical places. The world-famous Taj Mahal in Agra, obviously.
Of course.
Fatehpur Sikri, the Mughal capital for a time.
Yeah.
Sarnath, where Lord Buddha delivered his first sermon.
Yeah?
The historic Jhansi Fort, synonymous with Rani Lakshmi Bai.
Yeah.
This profound past is just deeply interwoven into the state's modern identity and its national significance. And this rich historical foundation, it flows directly into the cultural and spiritual mosaic that the sources describe.
Yeah.
So while Hindi and Urdu are the official languages,
Yeah.
there's this vibrant tapestry of regional dialects like Awadhi, Bhojpuri, Brajbhasha, Bundeli. The sources note these are crucial to daily life, to folk traditions.
You can imagine them coloring conversations, folk songs, regional plays. It's the living language of the people, adds so much flavor.
Exactly. And religiously, the state is predominantly Hindu, around 80%, with
Yeah.
a significant Muslim population, about 19%, plus various other faiths. But what the sources really emphasize is UP's status as a major spiritual hub for multiple religions.
Yeah. The list of major religious places from the sources is really telling. Ayodhya, revered as Lord Ram's birthplace. Varanasi, the holy city of Shiva, one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities.
Incredible.
Mathura of Vrindavan, deeply connected to Lord Krishna. Sarnath for Buddhism. Deoband, a hugely important Islamic seminary. And Shrivasti, significant for both Jain and Buddhist pilgrims.
And these sites, as the sources reveal, are far more than just places of worship. They are centers of history, philosophy, culture, pilgrimage, drawing people from all over India and, frankly, the world. It reflects that incredible religious diversity.
And that cultural richness, it expresses itself so vividly in the arts, the crafts, the festivals. The sources highlight the state's contribution to music, Hindustani classical, mentioning legends like Bismillah Khan from Varanasi, and various regional folk music traditions, too. And Kathak dance, one of India's classical forms, originated here.
Right. And literature is another powerful realm. They list giants of Hindi and Urdu writing, people like Premchand, Harivansh, Rai and
Oh, wow. What's fascinating, too, is how specific the crafts are to particular locations. The delicate chikankari embroidery, that's Lucknow.
The famous stuff.
Brassware from Moradabad, the famous carpets from Badawi, vibrant glass bangles from Firozabad, intricate wood carving from Saharanpur, and that beautiful marble inlay work in Agra near the Taj.
Yeah.
That regional specialization shows such deep-rooted skills, doesn't it?
It truly showcases the diverse artistic heritage across different areas. And the festivals. They're celebrated with immense energy and grandeur, according to the sources.
Yeah.
You have Diwali, famously featuring the Grand Ram Leela in Ayodhya.
Right.
Holi, known for the unique Lathmar Holi in Barsana. Major Islamic festivals like Eid and Muharram. Ram Navami, especially big in Ayodhya. Janmashtami in Mathura Vrindavan. And, of course, the Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj, which the sources note is the world's largest religious gathering on earth. Just incredible. Now, when we look at life, economy, and development, the sources reveal a state kind of grappling with distinct realities. There's this deep-rooted rural life, intrinsically tied to agriculture, often characterized by joint families, strong folk traditions, that sort of thing.
And then you have this rapidly growing urban life. Cities like Lucknow, Noida, Kanpur, Varanasi, it's a blend, isn't it? Traditional values intersecting with modern amenities, tech parks, developing infrastructure like metro systems.
Exactly. And economically, it remains heavily agriculture-based, producing massive amounts of wheat, rice, sugarcane, pulses.
Sugarcane comes up a lot.
It does. It's highlighted as a key cash crop, UP being India's top producer. The sources also mention specific regional produce like the famous Malihabad mangoes, guava.
Mangoes.
But an important insight from the sources, I think, is how industries have often grown directly from this base. You see hubs for leather in Kanpur, brass in Moradabad, carpets in Badawi, numerous sugar mills.
Right, makes sense.
There's also a growing modern sector electronics, especially in areas like Noida and Ghaziabad, and an expanding service sector, IT, education, tourism.
But the sources, they don't shy away from the challenges facing agriculture, do they? Things like dependence on the monsoon, soil issues, farmer indebtedness, especially acute in regions like Bundelkhand, it seems.
That's right. They do note recent government schemes and pushes for things like PM Kisan financial support for farmers, subsidized solar pumps, promoting organic farming, efforts to address some of these issues. So it's this complex picture, a strong agricultural base facing challenges, but also seeing growth in industry and services. That's kind of central to understanding UP's economy right now.
Governing a state of this scale, this diversity, it must present incredible complexity. The administrative structure, as the sources outline it, is just massive. 75 districts, 18 divisions, and over 58,000 gram panchayats, village-level bodies, plus the municipal corporations in the cities.
It's huge. And politically, it has a bicameral legislature, the Vidhan Sabha, the State Assembly, and the Vidhan Parishad, the State Council. The governor holds a constitutional role, but the chief minister wields the main executive authority.
And the sources list the major political parties dominating the landscape. BJP, SP, Samajwadi Party, BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party, and the INC, Indian National Congress.
Main players.
And they consistently highlight that critical fact. UP sends the most representatives, 80, to the Lok Sabha, India's lower house of parliament. That gives it unparalleled political influence in forming national governments.
Yeah, its sheer scale of governance and the state's pivotal political influence. It means that what happens in UP really does have reverberations across all of India. Education is another key area the sources delve into. UP is positioned as a significant center for both traditional learning and modern higher education.
Right. It's home to some renowned institutions. IIT, Kanpur, IIM Lucknow, Aligarh Muslim University, Banaras Hindu University, Allahabad University. Big names.
Very big names. And beyond these universities, the sources point out the unique significance of these coaching hubs, particularly in cities like Prayagraj and Kanpur.
Yes.
These cater to a massive student population, often from rural backgrounds, preparing intensely for these highly competitive national exams, UPSC for civil services, SSC for government jobs, GGE for engineering, NEET for medical schools.
That intense energy and aspiration of the youth, it really comes through strongly in the sources, doesn't it? Fueled by these educational pathways and also the rise of digital access, there's a visible tech-savvy youth culture, a big presence on social media, regional influencers, the growth of e-learning.
Yeah, a lot of dynamism there.
Okay, let's shift gears to something else the sources dedicate quite a bit of time to.
Yeah.
The food. They describe the famous cuisine of UP, noting significant influences from Awadhi and Mughlai traditions, especially in central and western parts, and a distinct Bhojpuri influence in the east.
It's a delicious exploration, actually.
Yeah.
They list popular dishes. The iconic Tunday Kabab and Galawadi Kebab from Lucknow.
Oh, yeah.
Savory kachori sabzi, bedmi puri. The hearty body choka from eastern UP, Nihari kulcha, the fragrant Lucknowi biryani. Sweet peta from Mathura, and that sirpi petha from Agra.
And you can't talk about UP food without mentioning street food. The sources highlight its popularity, especially the vibrant chat scene in places like Lucknow and Varanasi. The regional variations sound like a culinary journey in themselves.
Definitely. Something for everyone. Tourism is naturally a vital sector. It leverages the state's incredible assets, the history, the religion, even natural beauty. The sources sort of categorize the hotspots. You've got the spiritual sites, Varanasi, Ayodhya, Mathura, Prayagraj, Sarnath, major pilgrimage destinations.
Huge draws. And the historical places pulling in international attention. Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri, Jhansi Fort.
Right. And there's a growing focus on natural tourism, too. Places like Dugla National Park, known for tigers, rhinos, Katarnia Katanike Sanctuary, important for gharials, elephants, and ecotourism spots like Chitrakoot and Pilivit, highlighting the state's surprising wildlife.
And connecting all of this, as the sources detail, is the rapidly developing infrastructure. Major expressways built or underway. Lucknow, Agra, Purvanchal, Ganga, Bundelkhand expressways.
Yeah, big projects.
Major rail junctions, expanding air connectivity airports in Lucknow, Varanasi, Ayodhya, and that massive upcoming Jewar airport near Noida. The sources note it's planned to be one of Asia's largest.
It's huge.
Cities are also undergoing modernization under the Smart Cities mission.
These large-scale infrastructure and development projects are a clear indicator, aren't they, of the state's ambition, its journey of transformation, aiming to facilitate growth and connectivity across this vast area. The sources also outline future potential planned projects like a film city near Noida, a defense corridor, part of a broader vision for 2047 aiming for a $1 trillion economy, and targets for women empowerment, digital literacy, education, employment. Big goals.
However, while the sources detail all the significant development and ambition, they are also, realistic about the challenges the state faces.
Yes, they discuss law and order. They note UP has the largest police force in the country, ongoing modernization efforts, specific initiatives like women's safety apps, smart city policing.
Okay.
Yet persistent issues like high crime rates in certain districts, communal tensions, the challenge of addressing political criminal connections, these are also highlighted as areas needing continued effort.
And social challenges are prominent too. Poverty, particularly in rural areas in that Bundelkhand region. Youth unemployment despite the high aspirations. Lingering gaps in female literacy. Issues of corruption, especially at local levels, which the sources indicate is an ongoing focus for the administration.
Addressing these deep-seated challenges is absolutely critical, isn't it? To ensure that the ambitious development goals we just talked about can actually be realized, and that progress is inclusive, sustainable, across all parts of the state. The sources also remind us that this is a state of immense human talent and contribution. They list notable personalities who've emerged from UP across diverse fields.
Yeah, you see political heavyweights like Jawaharlal Nehru, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, current prominent figures like Yogi Adityanath, Mayawati, Mulayam Singh Yadav, literary giants like Premchand and Harivansh Rai Bachchan, major figures in entertainment, Amitabh Bachchan, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Anushka Sharma,
Big stars.
and iconic freedom fighters like Rani Laxmibai, Chandrasekhar Azad, Mangal Pandey.
That list really puts faces to the state's impact, doesn't it? Shows its significant contributions to India's national life in, well, virtually every sphere.
So, putting all of this together, the history, the culture, the economy, the challenges, the aspirations, what does this all mean? The sources offer some unique facts that kind of tie it all together. It has the most Lok Sabha seats, unmatched political power.
Crucial.
It's the birthplace of foundational Indian legends from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. It hosts the Kumbh Mela, the world's largest human gathering. Varanasi is one of the planet's oldest continuously inhabited cities. And the construction of the Ayodhya Ram Mandir represents a major contemporary spiritual and cultural event.
These facts just reinforce the picture presented throughout the sources, really. UP is a political and cultural powerhouse. It's a magnetic center for religious tourism, a critical player in India's democratic system, and increasingly a significant destination for investment and development. It truly embodies that description. The source suggests a mini India.
Wow. Okay. This deep dive into your sources has given us such a comprehensive picture of Uttar Pradesh. Its enormous scale, its deep roots in history and spirituality, the incredible cultural diversity, the dynamic, but yeah, complex economy, the intricacies of governing such a large entity, the energy of its youth, and significant challenges it faces alongside these ambitious plans for the future.
The sources make it abundantly clear, I think, that UP is a state defined by contrasts and constant transformation, ancient traditions coexisting with rapid modernization.
It's a place wrestling with the complexities that come with managing such immense scale and diversity on its path forward.
Exactly. And perhaps the provocative question for you, the listener, to consider based on everything we've explored from these sources is this. How does a state with such profound historical significance, such vast internal diversity, how does it balance preserving its rich heritage with the relentless demands of rapid modernization? And can it truly address its deep-seated challenges while striving towards that ambitious future vision?